good.
Yeah.
Have you read Cloud Cuckoo
Land. Everyone's talking about it, aren't they?
I
This is-
love
yeah.
that book.
Yeah.
It took me a while to realize that I liked it, because
Yeah.
at first it was so confusing.
Well, it gives you plenty of time with 700 pages.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was-
well,
Thanks. All right. I will call the meeting to order at 2:03. Do we need to do a roll call vote just because we might not all be on camera? Chris is
Right.
here, Pam's here, I'm here, Joy's here.
Yep.
We're good to go. Okay. So the first thing on the agenda is the vote to approve the minutes for December the 15th of 2021. Did everyone get a copy in your packet and have a
Yep.
chance to review those?
Did?
I move that we approve the minutes from, what was that, December 15th?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a second?
was I here for
No,
that?
you
were
I don't
not.
think so, so
I will second.
I won't vote.
Okay.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I just abstain.
Yep.
Yep, 3 and 1 abstention. Okay, public comment, I don't see anyone joining us remotely. We do have one member in the audience. Do you have any comments to make while you're here? You're just here to observe? Here for observation, okay. All right, we'll move on. Old business, we had the information packet for candidates was the first thing under old business, and Chris forwarded to the committee the draft of the letter. I think a letter is an excellent way to start.
It is a nice
I
approach.
think it is,
It's
huh?
a very nice approach, yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
so.
any critique, you can do it now or send me the comments, but we'd be ready. you know.
I thought, I think it's very good the way you have it.
Yeah.
It gives them just enough information without overwhelming people. And the fact that it has the links to the Know Your Town
Yeah.
and to the other YouTubes is very important.
I think so too. The only thing I might suggest is
Yeah.
that third bullet point, watch the Know Your Town podcast, just maybe say review. Just a
Right.
change of the,
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
review the Know Your Town podcast.
And did you think suggesting watching the financial management, it's a couple of years old, but it's kind of, I think it's a great, remember it?
That's your program, so what are your thoughts?
Well, I think not everybody is gonna relate to that, but anybody that has a budget
Yeah.
should need to know the process, or any committee that has an article that they want to put into the warrant. So, no, I think you should leave it
This,
there.
what I was thinking is that the hour that the finance director
Mhm.
Right.
presented, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I think it gives a great overview of the process, even
Yeah.
if the specifics for this coming fiscal year might not be
Yeah.
exactly the same. It's the process as a whole that's really helpful.
Good,
Mhm.
I agree.
nice, okay.
All right, anything else, any other comments about the info letter?
We'll just tidy it up for when it would be more appropriate coming from you, Emily, when,
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for doing
Yep.
that, Chris.
Yeah,
Good.
I think it looks fantastic.
thank you.
All right. So next up on the agenda is the Know Your Town, just an update on the progress. I have sent out invitations to that first round of boards and committees, primarily the regulatory boards, appeals, health, water, wastewater, and I'm blanking on the other two, I apologize, I should have written it down. But invitations went out last week. I'm gonna give them this week to respond, and if I don't hear from them, I think I'll give them a call next week, will be the next step. And the goal is really to get these started in February, so we can start to publish them and put them out for the public by the beginning of March.
Mhm.
So that's where I am on that.
And I'd like to mention that the new committee that used to be something energy,
Yes.
and I couldn't quite get the right name for it. I think it was Valerie Bell who spoke at at the annual report.
Right.
Yes.
And she was talking about working with Channel 18 to recruit members and talk about, so I contacted, but haven't heard, I didn't have her contact info, so I sent an email to Julie
Yep.
This is when you weren't feeling well.
Right, yes, thank you, thank you.
Just to say that
Yeah.
she'd probably be in the lineup already for that,
Mhm.
if, so
Yeah.
that we further contact her, so I don't know if I did the right thing, but.
I think I'll make sure I put that in the next round of invitations. I'll make sure that I include that committee, since it is, they are looking for members. I think in the next round, maybe we start with those boards and committees that have current vacancies,
Uh-huh,
which is on the agenda for a bit later, the current vacancies on town boards and committees, and we'll focus on those next.
good.
I actually have a follow-up question
Sure.
on that committee. I received a phone call from one of the committee members asking some questions about how things should be run. And I said I wasn't the appropriate person to do that, to talk to Julie, because she is their representative. And they haven't heard back from them, but it's an important thing for people to know. And I don't know if we could help, or if the town clerk wants to do it, or if the Board of Selectmen wants to do it, but there should be some kind of a handbook.
Oh, we have one.
We do have an old one.
We
Is
have
it-
one from how many years back?
Yeah, it's a pretty old.
The one that Linda Sabula
I
took
was
the
gonna
lead
say,
on.
yeah. Yeah, that was.
Maybe,
I think it would be nice if there was some type of orientation for
I do
new
too.
members
Yeah.
and new chairs.
well, a lot of people don't know that they have to be sworn in.
Well, they get the letter that tells them that. But-
I
Yeah.
also, just from an information availability standpoint, I like when committees include a packet with their agenda. If there's some proposed
Yeah,
change to something, or, just for example, the Board of Health recently updated the mask mandate. And it's hard listening to a hybrid meeting, when the audio is different depending on who the speaker is, and if you don't have the written draft in front of you to refer to, it's kind of hard to follow
Yeah.
along. So I find that helpful. I think those are things that, some boards and committees may not be aware of, but might be really open to if suggested.
yeah.
But how do we go about that?
That's a good question. We
Yeah,
don't want
I
to
know.
step on any toes.
Toes, right?
But maybe if we could send a letter to Julie saying that, we're trying to do what we can on our end without stepping on other toes, and ask if she has any suggestions.
For that particular committee?
For, not just that committee, but
Just
for
in
committees
general.
like that in
Yeah.
general, but also for that particular committee.
Okay.
Because they only have 3 members. And we know what that's like, because we only had 3 members for a long time.
And they, I think, are rewriting their charge even.
Yes, they are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
They are.
So they really need some input and,
help,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes, they do, and it sounds like one person is the only one who knows what's going on, so there's not enough communication.
Okay, so what you're proposing is that we draft a letter to Julie, suggesting that there might be some information gaps, and we don't know that we're the ones to fill them, but we just wanna make sure that she's aware of them, and ask how those gaps might be filled.
Right.
Okay. And in doing that, maybe we should look at that committee handbook and see when it was last updated, because that might be one way,
Yeah,
to go about that.
I think it's 16 or 17.
I think so too. At this point, I think
Yeah.
it's at least 5 years old.
Yeah, and there's so many committees that didn't participate. It
Yep.
was sad, really,
Yeah.
from my point of view, but
Yeah.
How many committees do we have now?
40-something.
Yeah.
Because we used to have 46, and
Yeah,
that's
it's right about
unreal.
that. Yeah.
So if you are a select person and you have to be a liaison,
Right.
I
then
mean, you could
that's-
be out every night of the week.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's something else that needs to be addressed probably at some point by whomever is appropriate to do so.
Right.
Okay, so the proposal is to draft a letter to Julie. Is anybody feeling that they have a clear understanding of what it is and want to draft the letter? If not, I'll take a stab at it and send it to you guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure I
Okay.
get a
Okay.
yeah.
All right, I will do a draft and, send it to you all via email, and you can give me some feedback, and if we
Okay.
don't come to I think we can probably come to a consensus via email,
Yeah,
because I don't know that we wanna wait a full month to get it out.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And I think you just mentioned this, but I didn't write it down. Do you have yet a release date for the podcast?
I do not.
Okay, because it's based on how, okay.
On when I get responses to my
Right.
invitations
Right.
and when we record.
And I had emailed you a question in the midst
Yes.
of your
Yep.
illness, because at our last meeting, I had written myself a note that I was gonna draft a narrative press release, sort of bit of information to send to the Chronicle, but I didn't
yeah.
note what I was writing that about. And I couldn't remember, and
Yeah.
do we think it was on?
It
the
probably
podcast
was the
series?
podcast.
You
It
mean
was
the minutes
either-
didn't reflect that perfectly?
It was either the podcast, this will be the benefit of having the,
Right.
so, it was either the podcast or the other thing that we were discussing at the December meeting, were the openings on boards and committees,
Right.
and, yeah, we had,
Okay.
so.
And which I can do both.
I'm thinking it's most likely the Know Your Town.
Okay.
I think that makes the most sense.
Okay, and so I'm not too far behind, because we
No.
can't send anything out until we have
No.
the dates anyways,
No,
so,
not at all, not at all.
okay, I feel
Okay.
better about that.
All right, thank
And
you.
my note is clearer, so future me
Right.
will not be so
I'm glad it's not just me.
Ugh.
All right, okay, so anything else about Know Your Town or, no, okay. So next up on the agenda, discussion regarding efforts to boost attendance at town meeting and local elections. So we've been talking about this at our last few meetings. I wanted to give you guys a little update. This is clearly on the minds of everyone at the moment, right? The League of Women Voters of the Cape Cod area released the program focus and their priority issues for action for 21-22, and right at the top of the list is raising the visibility of local elections and educating citizens on open positions in town and county government. So clearly, maybe even something, there's a programming committee meeting for the League of Women Voters next week that I'll be going to. So it may be something that we're able to get some ideas from them or can collaborate with them.
That would be great.
So, I don't have anything else on that topic.
Well, the one thing I was thinking about is, I know we've talked about using the mass communications tool to send messages out. And my understanding / recollection is that people have to opt into that.
Yeah,
So maybe we kind of take a step back and do sort of a public information campaign to encourage people to sign up for those notifications.
nice.
So that
Oh,
then,
good idea.
Yeah.
that they'll be more likely
Yep.
to, because I, all the time, I tell people, I got an email from the town, and they said, I had no idea, you
Yeah.
can,
Yep,
Right,
And so, since it is an opt-in sort of program,
that's a
Maybe we
logical
can-
first step.
right, maybe we can kind of take it back even further and encourage people to sign up for that, so they'll
Yeah.
be getting information from the town, and then we help make sure that all sorts of election-related information is then shared out via that tool.
That's a great idea.
Okay.
Okay, so,
We did a video, remember? You did,
I did a walkthrough. It's changed since
Yeah.
then. It's a new system.
Yeah.
So, we need to look at how we want to publicize that.
Right.
I think a walkthrough video, this new system is so intuitive. It's far more intuitive, I think, than the previous system. And I think there may even be some existing videos. I'll have to take a look and see, and I'll confer with Jamie because she'll know. So I could work on some Canva posts and finding some videos and links and that sort of thing, but we need to compile a list of
Right.
what avenues we're gonna use to disperse that information.
Right, I'm sure we could get something in the Chronicle,
Yeah.
a little write-up saying
Yeah.
that this is available,
yeah,
make sure you use it.
Mhm.
Again, sharing it on like the library's social media accounts and that
The
sort of
Council
thing.
on Aging.
Yeah.
their
Oh, they
newsletter.
might include it in the newsletter, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
all
think
of that
that-
kind of stuff.
I think the deadline for the April newsletter is February 10th.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
So we have some time.
Yeah, well,
well,
Yeah,
not a
not a
lot,
lot.
not
11
a
or
lot,
12 days,
not a lot.
but it could be a start.
Yep,
Yeah, and even if we can, turn some of those Canva posts into flyers, put them up here, put them
Yep.
up,
Yeah.
the bulletin board at Stop and Shop, whatever we can think of
yep,
to kind of have it out there so people know that it exists, and so the more people we can get to sign up from that, the more people will be reached by messages that go out.
okay. If I track down the links and get those to you, could you create the Canva and a little
Sure.
blurb?
Tell me what a Canva is.
Canva is the most fantastic graphic design software, or
Oh.
it's like an online platform, it's not really software, but
Yeah,
you sign up for a free account and they have all of these templates that you can
Oh.
use, and you can use all of these graphics that you know are free for public use
Oh,
and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
It's
and
just fantastic.
You can do so many of the same things that you could do in Photoshop or InDesign or any
Yeah.
of those
Yeah.
programs, but it's a lot more user friendly, and it's really
Nice.
simple. And educators get a free
Yes.
pro account. So.
Yes, we have a free
Yeah.
program at the library
Nice.
too. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a fantastic
It's like,
program.
it's like Publisher,
yeah,
Yeah.
but,
for me.
yeah, but now it sizes things for whatever media you're using. So if it's for Facebook, it's
Oh,
a certain
wow.
size. If it's for Instagram, it's
Yeah.
a certain size, and it just does all the work for you.
Yeah, and you can use templates that are already prepared and just plug in your information, or you can kind of adapt them in any
Yeah.
way you want. You can change the color scheme, you can add your own images and logos.
And this is free?
Yeah, so there's a basic account that's free.
Okay.
Educators can get a free upgraded account, libraries, nonprofits can get a free upgraded account. It's Canva, CANVA.com, and it's fantastic. But even the free version, before we had our upgraded version,
Yes.
you can use it to design all sorts of things. It's great for stuff like this.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah, flyers, social media posts,
yeah.
all
Thank
different
you.
kinds of stuff.
That was good.
So yes, I can work on that.
Okay, perfect. I'll get the links to you for any videos or anything that we might want to share. Okay. Anything else anybody else had any thoughts about boosting attendance or getting the word out in addition to what we're already planning for the election season?
This, and I may have mentioned this before, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, and this isn't necessarily something that's in our purview, but I just wanted to toss it out there. The town of Chatham does a weekly email newsletter. Have you seen it?
I signed up for it after you mentioned it
Okay,
the
so I
last
did
time.
mention it before. It's so handy and helpful. It comes out every Friday, and it just lists a couple of the big things going on in town. Obviously when it's lead up to town meeting, that's like the top story. They'll have like a little COVID update section. They'll have the actual agenda for the next select board meeting, the next week's select board meeting, kind of at the bottom. Date and time, how to log on remotely. It's not more than the equivalent of like a page or so,
Yeah,
but it goes out every Friday, and it seems to me like such a great tool to keep this stuff top of mind to people.
Mhm.
Okay,
So I know it's not anything that's in, our
right.
our wheelhouse, but I just wanted to toss it out there as an example of yet another way that I think is really helpful to connect with people. Obviously we have the more sort of emergency notification system, for
Right.
lack of a better word.
Right.
Yeah.
But that, to me, seems set up not to be for regular communications, just for very much one-off,
Right.
Right.
sort of things.
Right.
This is a nice model,
Mhm.
I think, of a good way to share that information on a really regular basis with
Yeah.
people.
Okay.
I just wanted to toss it out there.
and also people who've opted in,
Right.
Right.
great.
Exactly. But if you're ever,
Yeah.
noodling around on the internet, I think you can sign up or see. I think they even have previous.
I think they do have
previous
an
weeks
archive.
posted. Yeah.
They do have an archive of previous newsletters.
Yeah. So it's a nice example of way to just distill that information down.
So we're going to have to be in touch with Joe Powers, the town administrator, in the coming weeks to set up
Oh, right.
our financial state and some of our other programs that will be coming up. They're on schedule for budget for the most part, as they have been in previous years, for the joint meeting with FinCom in March. and I was trying to remember, I think then we normally start our programs related to the financial state of Harwich in like April typically.
Mhm.
So we're gonna have to be in touch with Joe, and maybe this is something that we bring up in conversation with him about ways to get the word out about what's going on in town and important meetings, like the comprehensive wastewater meeting is coming up Thursday, and then
Right.
on Saturday.
And they just
So-
changed that to fully remote.
Yeah, because of the weather.
Oh, geez,
Yeah. So I made a note of that.
great.
I think that might be the best avenue, is just present the idea to him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I like that.
Do you want me to do the financial update again this year?
If you do not mind, yes. I was gonna put that under other, because I forgot to put it on the agenda as a
Oh, okay.
standalone thing.
All right.
All right, so let's keep going through old business, discussions regarding local comprehensive plan. So I don't know if you have had an opportunity to view the Board of Selectmen's meeting from this
I
past
did,
Monday, the 24th. John Eidman gave a fantastic update
Yep.
about the progress. They've received 20 applications for
Very
members
good.
at large for this bill,
Oh,
for this
good.
committee that they're forming, which is fantastic. I think if I followed the conversation correctly, what they decided to do in the end is they're going to do a committee review of all 20 applications. It will be the interview committee, John, Joe, and the rest of the board is obviously welcome. I think it'll be posted as a public meeting, and they'll be scheduling it for Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
This Saturday?
Not this Saturday,
A
but
Saturday.
a Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, just to open it up, so,
And John was very impressed with
and
the
very
applicants.
enthusiastic, yeah.
Oh,
So
good.
that was nice to hear.
And if I followed it correctly, it sounds like they decided to keep all 11 or so spots to
Mhm.
community members,
Members, yep.
and not bring any
Yes,
officio
yes.
in to
That was
Yeah.
my understanding
cut
as
down
well.
on the not,
Yeah.
availability of community members to participate. So
Yeah, that was my
that's great.
understanding as
I
well,
think
so.
that's fantastic.
Me too, I'm excited about that, so that was great news. All right,
D.
yep, D, all set. E,
Yes.
2021 annual report, did you have an opportunity to read the draft
I
report?
did, I
For-
forget where it is.
Okay, so this is, it's very similar outline to, the report to the Board of Selectmen.
Right.
Yep,
Yeah.
with some slight changes here and there. If everyone's happy with that and there are no editorial comments or changes needed, I will submit it to Ellen Powell
Great,
for inclusion in the town
Good.
report.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Excellent, that's due on Friday, I'll get it to her tomorrow, we'll be a day early.
I love that, love it.
All right, current vacancies on town boards, did everyone see in the Board of Selectmen's packet, this is dated January the 10th, vacancies seem to be down a little bit, which is exciting. I'm really happy to see that. So we still have a few boards or committees that are in need of 3, 4, some 6 members. So.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably where we should target our efforts when we start going through the list.
Yeah.
So that would be the Agricultural Commission, the Forest Committee. I'm gonna have to check and see if these are all still active as well.
I thought they were
Assuming,
co-joining some of those committees.
are they?
Well, that was the intent,
Yeah.
so that it would be easier to get.
Right.
I'll check in with
Members.
Joe. I'll check in with
Okay.
Joe before I reach out to anyone and see what he might think the
Okay.
priorities
Yeah,
are. Yeah.
And I think at the meeting Monday, Julie suggested encouraging the, 9 or whatever of the 20 who applied.
Yeah, to,
oh, consider other
Right, to say
committees,
there's other ways
exactly.
you can get involved,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and here are some openings, and I think that's a great idea too, so,
Right.
yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, I think I'll check with Joe then and see what he thinks the priority is, and we can
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
go from there.
let's see.
Yeah, so HDHC, is in need of 6 members?
What's
One
that
full
one?
member,
Historic.
historic district, historic.
That many?
Oh, right, wow.
Oh
One
my
full
God.
member and 5 associate members.
Okay.
I wasn't aware they had so many associate
I don't know
members,
what it means.
I think. All right, so, But it looks like progress is being made,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. Speaking of, this is later, but did everyone see they posted the agenda for today's interview committee?
I didn't,
I was gonna put this under other as well, but I'm gonna skip to it because I'm excited. The Selectmen's Interview Committee met this morning at 9 a.m. and under new business, interview applicants for Voter Information Committee.
Oh, wow.
Accessibility Rights Committee and Cultural Council also, but yeah.
Exciting.
So we may have a new member.
Oh, that's
We
interesting.
may have a full committee again.
that would be lovely.
That would be lovely.
Exciting.
All right, and Chris, thank
Good.
you for updating the local election vacancies. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to review the list,
Yeah,
along with the important dates, which we use to kind of guide
Plan
our
our life.
programming.
Yeah.
Yes. So what I thought is I'll put on the agenda for the February meeting, that we kind of finalize our dates for our programs
yeah,
in the spring, and then I can reach out and book rooms for those. I thought I kind of wanted to wait until February because maybe by then we'll have a better sense if we're still in this hybrid model or if things are starting to roll back to full in-person events. Especially since, most of our programs are scheduled for April or May.
right.
By then, hopefully we'll, fingers crossed, be past this surge and,
Especially if there's contested
right,
elections,
which
you
we
know?
have a lot of, it seems like we have
Possible,
some, yeah.
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so we'll see.
I know.
Yep. All right, okay. I also have the election calendar for 2022 has been posted on the town clerk's website. Right now, it's primarily focusing on the spring. The dates for the fall are still to be determined in some places, so we'll see. All right. So, final thing is, under new business, the availability of recordings of public meetings. This has come up at a couple of our meetings recently, just noting that, some committees and boards, were unable to find access to their meetings because they're not being recorded. So I wondered if we had an idea of what boards and committees that might include and how we might want to encourage them to schedule meeting times in places where they can be recorded. Because
Right.
I think that's really useful. I know on more than one occasion, especially when it relates to wastewater, I've had to go back and rewatch meetings
Right,
just to bring myself up to speed and know
Yeah.
and know that I really am understanding what's going on.
yeah,
And when those recordings don't exist, you don't have a way to do that other
Right.
than reading through the minutes, which we know,
maybe 4 months later,
right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right,
yeah,
or may not capture some of the smaller details that are
Yeah.
important
to us.
to
Right,
us.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say I started making a list of those committees that I thought were kind of high profile.
Mhm.
And, in my mind, that meant maybe they're dealing this year with a lot of money,
Sure.
that kind,
Yeah.
or a big asset. So a few of them, of course, I left the list at home. Oops. Hello. But, waterways was one,
Okay.
and cultural committee.
Okay.
I think they meet at the cultural center,
Yeah.
and they're not the facilities there.
Mhm.
And then Brooks Free Library, the trustees.
Mhm.
And I'm on the board of the Harwich Historical Society, so knowing that, I have an interest in Brooks Academy Museum Commission.
Uh-huh.
They often meet at the academy and aren't, sometimes they've had go-to-meeting, but the go-to-meeting isn't taped.
Okay.
And they have a big ticket item this year, as you know,
Mhm.
the part of the foundation for the original part of the building, the 2 sections of the. So those were some that I was
Yeah.
thinking. Assessors, I don't think those are ever
They
taped.
were.
You think so?
I thought they were,
Oh,
but
okay,
I don't quote
Yeah.
me on it.
yeah.
Well, a lot of the assessors meetings are also, executive session.
Are
Yeah,
Yeah, because they have to mention
they? People,
people.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
all right, so that could be the cause for
Mhm.
some of that, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my question is, what do we think our role is in
Yeah.
encouraging these boards or committees to find a new location for a meeting so that they can be recorded? Or is our role, you know, is that outside of our purview? But it's come up several times recently, so I thought it was worth putting on here just for us to kind of discuss.
Yeah, am I wrong when we tape, I don't know if that's even the right term, go to meeting, then it's available?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it is.
So
It's
People
part
are
of public
meeting-
record.
Mhm.
people are kind of hybrid breeding.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a word. So that should be the chair's duty, I would guess, to make sure it's taped, right?
Right,
I don't-
I mean,
right,
that almost sounds like it's tying back to that discussion about the handbook. You
Yeah.
know, that seems
Yeah.
like one of those things that would be listed as, you know, best practices in the handbook. And I would guess if the handbook is that old, it doesn't have anything about remote participation or, you
Right.
know, how to,
Oh, no.
how to
That's-
handle
No.
that, so.
I think it has something maybe in there about how you can not be on site and call in.
Right.
Right.
You know, phone call.
But, I
Right.
mean, for that reason alone, it would be probably worthy of doing an update to that handbook,
Mhm.
just to include that information with that sort of proviso that if you are doing, you know, a go-to-meeting or other remote tool, ensure that you're recording it and notify all the people present that you're recording it, you know, that sort
Yeah.
of thing, as sort of a best practice.
We keep coming back to that handbook.
yeah,
And it's
we
like,
do.
pretty soon we'll be updating it
Yeah,
ourselves. you know.
So should I include a mention about this in the letter to Julie?
I think it's a good time to do it.
Yeah,
It doesn't hurt to try to build bridges with
right.
different places, and also it helps us to know our own role and our restrictions.
Right. Right, even if the answer is no, XYZ will handle that, or,
Exactly,
You know,
but that's
that's
fine,
good
and if
information
we
to
can
know,
direct
yeah.
them to somebody else, that's perfect.
Exactly.
Right.
Even
We will
one
have done our
document
job.
that had what the committees are and what their charges are, that would be one nice step. Excuse me. More important is really, how do you participate as a member of a
Right.
committee, and what's your role as the chair especially?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so I'll include something about that in my letter to Julie, and I'm gonna send that draft to you guys, and you can proofread it and give me some feedback and let me know your thoughts.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna keep this topic on the agenda, I think, for next month as well, so we can, it seems to be coming up, it may continue to come up, so we
Yeah.
might as well leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
And then for next month, the other thing I have to add to the agenda is our upcoming program, so we can start ironing out the details on who's going to do what, and, you know, get a timeline together of when we want to
yeah.
post programs.
Would you check your, I know you have the handout of when
Yes,
the papers are due?
yes. The last day to take out nomination papers is March 25th.
Yeah,
The last day to turn in papers is March 29th.
okay.
So semi-related
Mhm.
to that and just the general springtime issues, I just want to, be clear, because of my role with the school district,
Right.
I will have to be careful.
Mhm.
So for example, if there is a contested school
Sure.
committee race,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't be
Yeah.
involved in
Right.
Nope.
that event at all.
Right,
And if it's a night where there's other events, like I can participate in, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right,
but I have to be careful to draw those lines.
No, I
And,
yeah.
there will
I'm gonna have to do the same thing with the trustees. So.
Right, right,
Oh,
I mean, I
right.
figure we're
Yeah.
all sort of in the
Yeah.
same position, and there will likely be a warrant article with some updates to the regional agreement for the
Oh,
school
right.
district.
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
So I, again, will have to just be very
Sure. Yeah.
clear about, you know, what I
Mhm.
can and cannot do, with this group to
Well, we.
share that information out, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And encourage
Right.
people to participate, you know, I have to.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
without an opinion on yes
Yeah.
or
Right.
no, but, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
I just have to, you know, make
Yep.
sure those lines are very clear as we approach
Yes.
this, spring season.
Yeah, understood, understood.
So,
Yeah,
you know, I will do whatever I can, but, you know, I'm sure there will be times where I'll have to say, no, I can't be involved in this, or I can't,
You have to recuse yourself.
participate,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
so,
All right, well,
okay,
we'll keep that in mind when we're divvying up the,
yeah,
the
exactly.
roles, yeah.
Speaking of recusing and whatever, how are we doing with our ethics? Is that coming up again?
Not yet.
not yet,
Yeah,
no,
I
not
found
yet.
my file
Oh,
with
yeah.
everybody's,
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
Well,
oh, good.
yeah, I was purging. files.
Yes,
But, yeah, it's nice to know we're all still
yeah,
in good shape.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
not quite yet, haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah.
So I think we're good for a bit.
Yep.
All right, so upcoming meetings, we have February the 23rd and March the 23rd, both at 2 o'clock here at the Channel 18 studio.
Good.
I do believe that February 23rd falls during the week of school vacation, so I just want to double check with you that that was not, I didn't know if you had any issues and might be away. That'll be an important meeting because we will be kind of divvying up the work for the programming for the spring.
Right,
Yes, as of now, I will be here, I
Okay.
am working all week.
Okay, all right. All right, anything else before I ask for a motion to adjourn?
I can't think of anything.
No,
No.
is that
All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
second?
Oh, I better
All
say.
right, all in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye, all right. It is 2:39, Chris.
Yeah,
Speedy meetings,
I know.
well done.
yep,
I think recording helps that as well. All right, I
so,
have my to-do list, so I'll
I
get
know
back
you
to
have a bunch.
everyone.
yeah. Anybody wants to kind of go through the committees and list the priorities for
Yeah.
shaping,
Yeah,
be good.
I think that was a good start, and if you have your list at home,
Yeah.
just look and see if there was anything else and let us know.
Right. So, none of us made a Biden comment, wasn't that the screen?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I don't, it was